drones that can now be fabricated with a brand new technology. It's kind of a pop-up fabrication technology. You know, your children's pop-up books, you know, where you open it up and then it pops up? They can do this now at the microchip level using exotic materials to pop up an actual insect. And we've got some footage of that. Go ahead and roll that footage while I explain this if you can. You can watch this on Prisonplanet.tv. There it is, the little insect. This is smaller than a penny. This little insect is popping up and assembling itself out of, well, silicon and some metals, and then it gets soldered together. See, it assembles itself in about 1 second. It's about a 1 second activity. And then it can lock itself into place, and then it's got this unique soldering technology. The point is that the scientists who created this say, quote, "It is a process well suited to mass production, enabling parallel manufacture of large numbers of robotic devices." It's just what we need, isn't it? Yeah, large numbers of spy drones. Now, this reminds me of that scene in Terminator 2. Remember the scene where that scientist is talking about they got this microchip from the robotic arm, and they've been studying it, and it's leading them in all kinds of new directions that they never could have imagined before. There it is, smaller than a penny, for those of you still watching. Incredible. Like, if this was flying around your house, spying on you, you wouldn't even know it's there. Now, of course, they don't have a power supply to it yet. They don't have a video camera small enough to fly around on it yet. But imagine in the future, you know what they're going to do with these? They're going to have vaccine needles out the front. I mean, Bill Gates is already using genetically modified mosquitoes to have a vaccine type of technology to vaccinate people. Why not do it with these electronic monolithic bees, these little insect swarms, put vaccines on the front of them and have them do little kamikaze missions on all the people who have exposed arms. By the way, you know, a little tip, most of these robotics that are coming, and Alex has talked about that on the show, the robotics are coming. The robotic warriors, or the Terminators, so to speak, but they're going to be flying drones first. They already are flying drones. Most of them are going to detect humans using infrared sensors. And let me just give you guys, all of you listening, this little tip if you don't already know it. If you want to make yourself invisible to infrared, make yourself a space blanket poncho. Yeah, just take a space blanket, cut a hole in it, you know, put it on like a poncho, and then the robot drones can't see you except your head. The space blanket keeps the infrared rays inside, makes you basically camouflage to the robots. You may laugh, but that may come in very handy in the near future. Stay with us. This is the Alex Jones Show. Mike Adams hosting. We'll be right back after this break with more news from the incredible world of reality. See ya. Welcome to the second hour of the Alex Jones Show. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, filling in for Alex today. Alex is on the road. It's Monday, February 20th. I'll be hosting also 1 week from today, the 27th, when we'll be featuring Jonathan E. Ward. Yes, our favorite health freedom attorney. He has defeated the FDA several times in the past. He has a new book coming out with a foreword written by Ron Paul. So he'll be on the show. Also, we'll be joined by Dale Carson next week, the former FBI agent, former SWAT team member, former South Miami cop, who's got a lot of great information. Now, getting back to the news in this segment, there's something I really wanted to be sure to cover today. We just talked about the robotic insect swarms. That technology is real. They have a new method now where they can mass produce these insect robot drones, and it's only a matter of time before they start swarming around your house, your backyard, keeping tabs on you, spying on you, and it's all going to be done under the guise of protecting you. Yeah, you're safer now that the insect swarms are keeping an eye on everything. Hey, it's an eye in the sky. It's like mom looking down on you from above. It's like the federal family keeping an eye on your backyard to make sure your little toddler doesn't drown in your pool. Yeah, that's why they're swarming around there. No, they're going to be swarming everywhere, making sure that none of us do anything that might be considered an act of terrorism, such as paying with cash. Yes, paying with cash. Or what, having a tattoo, missing a finger. What? Remember that from, what was it, about a week and a half ago, all these things that indicate that you might be a terrorist. I think Alex Jones should do kind of a Jeff Foxworthy joke segment You know, you might be a redneck. You might be a terrorist if you have a tattoo of Janet Napolitano on your upper thigh. You might be crazy, actually, if you have that. You might. Let's not even go there. Here's something you really need to know about. Neotame is the new aspartame. Neotame. Spread the word, folks. This is the next chemical sweetener to avoid, and it's being very heavily marketed. The creators of Neotame, of course, the same people who created aspartame, look, the patent ran out on aspartame. I believe that ran out in 1992. And of course, they always try to have replacements for patents, so they have to add some chemical or alter a molecule or something to get a new patent. Well, Neotame is the more potent, more refined version of aspartame, which Dr. Russell Blaylock describes as an excitotoxin, a nerve-damaging toxin. Well, Neotame adds another molecule, and I believe, if memory serves me correctly, that molecule is 3-dimethylbutyl. Not that it matters what the syllables are in it. It's just another chemical, and it's not a chemical that exists in the natural world, by the way. This is a synthesized chemical sweetener, and now the company, see, Monsanto sold off NutraSweet to a company called J.W. Childs, or J.W. Childs Equity Partners. They sold that off, I believe, right around 2000 or 2000, yeah, 2000, I think, 2002. And then Neotame was approved by the FDA in 2002, and now that's being pushed very heavily. And they're bragging about it. The company says, oh, here it is. Here's the quote from the company. This is from the NutraSweet company. They said, "We revolutionized the sweetener industry in 1981 with the introduction of aspartame. And we intend to do it again with Neotame when we receive approval from various regulatory agencies around the world." So you see, it is chemical sweetener imperialism. You're going to start having Neotame in all kinds of products. But there's an internet myth about this that I have to cover. You cannot put Neotame in organic products. It's not. There's a myth out there that says you can. It's not true. We checked on it. It's not true. And Neotame does have to be listed on the label as an additive. So don't believe all those rumors about it, but avoid this chemical no matter what. Stay with us. We'll be right back here with Joe Nobody, our guest, coming up right after the break. Stay with us. Now we've got a great interview coming up with Mr. Joe Nobody. That is his real alias. That's his author name. He's published numerous books under the name Joe Nobody. Let me just finish up one story that we were talking about before, though. Neotame, this is the sweetener name that you need to know about to avoid it. So get that into your head. Neotame is the new aspartame. It's the second coming of aspartame, to put it in the totally wrong context. But avoid Neotame. It's going to be marketed in much the same way. It's going to be said that it's completely safe, even though I think it's something like 30 times more potent than aspartame as a sweetener. That's a guesstimate. But there's a false internet rumor circulating that it can be used in organic foods and doesn't have to be listed on the label, and that is completely false. We checked it out. We talked to the Cornucopia Institute, and they checked it out. They said, no, if Neotame is in a food, it's got to be listed on the label because it is an additive, and it is not currently allowed under organic products. Sometimes I think there are some groups out there who are actually trying to spread a little disinformation sometimes. I mean, look, we all make mistakes from time to time, and we've made mistakes as well, and we correct them when we do. InfoWars has made, errors and corrected them, but sometimes there are groups that make mistakes on purpose, and then they try to spread that disinfo out there, and that's not really appreciated. So do your homework on this stuff and keep everybody honest out there. Hey, if we make a mistake at Natural News, let me know too, because we want to keep our information accurate. Oh, and by the way, if you just joined us, this is Mike Adams filling in for Alex Jones today. I'm the Health Ranger. And Alex asked me to be here today. He's on the road, and he's also asked me to host next Monday. And during that time, we'll be having Jonathan Emord on, as well as Dale Carson. So we've got some good info coming up. Now, right now, let's go to Joe Nobody. Let me give you a quick introduction of who this is. Obviously, that's not his real name. His real name must be kept secret because of his former experience. Let's I'll let him tell you as much as he wants to tell you. But he is a very well-informed individual who has operated outside the country. Yes, he's an operator, a former operator, and an active teacher. I have met him in person, so I've checked him out, and he's the real deal, and he's got a lot of just really stunning information that you need to know. Because I think most of you would agree with me that something's coming down the road this year. Maybe social collapse, maybe economic collapse, maybe some rioting, maybe some martial law crackdowns, who knows what the case may be. You need to get safe. And this guy, Joe Nobody, is going to teach you how to do it. He's the author of this book, Holding Your Ground, which you can find on Amazon.com or other booksellers. You can see this copy is well worn because it's my personal copy that I've been through. And he joins us now by phone. Joe, are you with us?
Hey, good afternoon, Mike. How are you?
Doing great, Joe. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate you coming on the Alex Jones Show.
Well, thank you for having me, sir.
Well, let's get into it, and don't hold back, but let's start with as much as you can say on live national radio about your experience and background. Obviously, protect your identity, but what, people want to know if you're really who you say, if you're really qualified to talk about this.
Well, I won't go into operational details or history, obviously. Most of the information in my books comes out of the private contracting world. A lot of people don't know it. In Iraq and Afghanistan and a lot of other places in the world, guard duty, if you will, is now contracted out to private companies. And there is probably the best knowledge base about defending a location, protecting assets, things like that are good for preppers, people who prepare. Is probably those individuals now are probably the most knowledgeable in the world about those particular topics. And we accessed as many of them as we could. Some of my own personal experiences in the books. And we hope it helps people get their defense security situation in place.
Well, let's talk about that. And I want to point out that your book is not solely about, build a bunker and stock it with ammo and spray and pray bullets everywhere. Because, sometimes we sort of see that approach in the survival community. You take a very, I would say, a wise, very much a wiser approach to this. Can you talk about your philosophy of defense?
Absolutely. The best defense is stealth. The best defense is hiding in plain sight. If there is a collapse of society, if there is an event that occurs and there's no longer rule of law, the government's no longer protecting people, the absolute best way to go about things is for no one to know where you are, no one to know about your preparations. And so we refer to that in the books as a passive profile, versus an active profile is when you're making it very loud and clear that I'm well armed, I'm ready to defend myself and go away, find an easier target. And we try very hard in the books to allow people to prepare without damaging the value or the appearance or the usability of their property.